अभी share due to the network problem, the screen that we can see. Okay, hello. So, in the close reduction and manipulation, this is preferred if the fracture is displayed and is done under general anesthesia in the major OT. Retention is usually by the slab cast and rarely by the fracture. Methods of close reduction by green stick fracture in the children. So this is a diagram of a close reduction, that is the CD of a green stick fracture in children. In this there is a first one that opposite track intact cortex is broken, and second, that is B, the reduction is done. So this is how close reduction is performed, that firstly the opposite intact cortex is broken and then the reduction is done. Close reduction by the traction, that is, this is also can be attended by in a certain situations, that is in a gallows traction, Dunlop traction, or overhead olecranon skeletal traction in difficult supracondylar fractures of humerus. Surgery required for these when there is a open reduction and internal fixation, then this is rarely done in a children and indicated that being failed close reduction, redisplacement, multiple injury, neurovascular injury, delayed union, and soft tissue interposition. And close reduction and percutaneous fixation is seen of late that this method of treatment is gaining popularity due to the simplicity of technique and reduced complication rate that is associated with the open technique. The most popular example of this technique is close reduction and percutaneous K-wire fixation of a closed displaced supracondylar fracture of femur in children. So this diagram showing the percutaneous fixation with the K-wire. This is the K-wire that which is seen in a cross. So in the case of the supracondylar fracture of the humerus, this is the humerus, this one, and this is the supracondylar region of humerus where the fracture is occurred. So K-wire is used for the close reduction and percutaneous fixation. So, in this case, this treatment is gaining popularity due to the simplicity of technique and reduction complication rate associated with the open technique. So, the most popular example of this technique is close reduction and percutaneous K-wire fixation. Then, corrective osteotomy. Corrective osteotomy. This is required in cubitus varus deformity due to the malunited supracondylar fracture. In this diagram, there is a corrective osteotomy in malunited supracondylar fracture of the humerus. So, this is a humerus. This is a supracondylar region of the humerus where the fracture is occurred. So, this is corrective osteotomy is done in malunited supracondylar fracture of the humerus. So remember the principle of treatment in children. three R's, that is religion of the fracture, then respect of the soft tissues, and remember the child. That is religion of fracture, respect of soft tissue, and remember the child. And complication shows that overgrowth is due to the stimulation and hypervascularity due to the epiphyseal injury and deformity. The principles of treatment are realization of fracture, respect of the soft tissue, and remember the children. So complications are overgrowth. There is sometimes overgrowth. Realization of fracture, respect of the soft tissue, and remember the children. Overgrowth due to the stimulation and hypervascularity due to the epiphyseal injury. Then deformities, that is due to the unequal damage of epiphyseal plate. Growth disturbances due to the crushing of growth plate. Then growth arrest due to the damage of the growth plate, and shortening, that is due to the crushing of growth plate. The complications of these are overgrowth, deformity, growth disturbances, growth arrest, and shortening. Next is the important fractures in the children. Important fractures in the children shows that supracondylar fracture of the humerus, green stick fractures and torus fracture, radial neck fracture, fracture clavicle, fracture of the femur neck, then epiphyseal injury of the ankle and distal end of the radius, etc. And some of these fractures are discussed in detail in appropriate chapter. So, disturbing facts that is problem fracture in children are supracondylar fracture of humerus because of the fear of VIC, that is Wolfman compartment syndrome. Then Montague fracture here, that is radial head dislocation, is often missed. Epiphyseal injury that lead to the growth abnormalities in the children. Then after the fracture of the children, there is the next topic is the epiphyseal injury. So definition of that is the epiphysis is specialized growth cartilage of the long bone and is most likely to be injured after the age of the 10 years. So mostly after the age of the 10 years, in the fracture, epiphysis is generally injured. So there is a specialized growth cartilage of the long bone, that is epiphysis is injured after 10 years of the age. This is called as the epiphyseal injury. Then incidence that it accounts for nearly 17.9%, that is mostly 18% of all pediatric fractures in seen in that. Then Fitness 15% of these injuries causes a growth arrest. Causes of these are the junction between the metaphysis and the epiphysis is the weakest point of a long bone in children and is therefore the most vulnerable to shearing forces. And types, that is one is Shelter and Harris have classified the epiphyseal injuries into the five types. Range has added the sixth variety. So the junction between the metaphysis and epiphysis is the weakest point of long bone in children and is therefore the most vulnerable in shearing forces. That's why injury to the epiphysis is more commonly seen in the age of after 10 years. So according to the Salter and Harris, epiphyseal injury are classified as follows. Type 1, that complete separation of epiphysis from metaphysis without fracture and common in rickets, scurvy and osteomyelitis. So, in the rickets, scurvy and osteomyelitis, there is a complete separation of epiphysis from metaphysis.